I was talking about Peugeot 205s and watching from the back seat rain go down the windscreen and betting on which rain droplet would get to the bottom of the window first, and that would be like a race. Betting on the wrong droplet. And then having like I had like a Game Boy Advance, and you had like the little light attachment, because the Game Boy Advance SP wasn't a thing at that point. If I can flex a little bit, I got a Game Boy Advance from the Pokemon Center in New York City, which was in 2002, and it was a special edition. And then they had a staff member at the store who had the same name as me, and we took a picture together playing Pokemon. Very dorky. This is what my Game Boy Advance looked like. I would have been the popular kid? Not really. I was kind of a lame kid. I'm gonna be honest. Did you bully anyone? When I was like a kid, yeah, I was a bit of an arsehole, because I was trying to be like a class clown, but inevitably I was just being mean. And then I felt sorry for it. And then I met the person that I was mean to 10 years later, and I apologized, and they said, it's all good. So, I mean, I also apologized as a child, but I also apologized as an adult, because I was being rude. So I don't know if you guys had this, but like in primary school, you know, you would sit on the table, you would have like set tables that you would sit at. We weren't allowed to use pens. We were not of the age where we could use pens, so we had pencil sharpeners. And then in the center of the table was a little tub that you would use you would sharpen the pencil over, so it would collect all the sharpenings in the little tub. And then I had the bright idea of pouring those over my friend, and then I got in trouble, and then I cried. That was, I think, the only time I think I was guilty of quote-unquote bullying, because I thought it was funny, and then it turns out it wasn't funny. You're awful? Yeah, that was the worst thing I've ever done in my life. That's mean. I know, because I thought it was all fun and games, and I was like, ha 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 ha, and then the teacher saw me do it. They got very angry at me, and then I was told to stand outside. And then whilst I was standing outside, I thought it was genuinely like the end of the world. I was going to get expelled from school. So I started crying because I didn't want to get expelled. And then after the class, I apologized to my friend. And we're still good friends, I think. Although I haven't spoken to them in a long time. Primary kids do a lot of irrational things. Yeah, there was one other time where I got in trouble for something. And the teacher told me to like stand outside. And then the teacher forgot that I was standing outside, so I just missed the entire lesson, because the teacher never said to like come back in. It was only supposed to be for like 5 minutes, and they just forgot about me, which was pretty funny. For like, I think it was like 40 minutes. I think it was like talking to my friend. Sounds boring? Yeah, but like you're like 8. So who cares? You can just make up your own fun. Should have just gone for lunch. I think it was after lunch, so I didn't have anything to eat. When you were in kindergarten, you bought your die-cast Thomas the Tank Engine lady toy, and some kid decided it was too girly, met me in the hallway, threw it down, and then bit you on the nose. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh at that. It's like a traumatic experience, being bit on the nose by another kid. I shouldn't laugh, but it is kind of funny, because children are fucking stupid. And we were all kids, so we were all dumb as bricks. You remember in year 7 there was a cunt that you got into a fight with? I've talked about getting into a fight on the second day of school, because I was getting bullied. Any teacher throw chalk? Not at the students, but in anger, yes. I've seen teachers throw chalk in anger. You bit your friends whilst pretending to be a Pokemon as very young lads. Damn. I don't think I ever did that. A young hag didn't hesitate to throw hands. No, so I had taken karate lessons leading into high school, and then literally like the first 2 days of school, I was just getting picked on by this one kid because I wore glasses, and this was around the time where, you know, like Harry Potter was popular and in vogue. So I basically I had them sneak up behind me and was just calling me all sorts of horrible, like well, not four eyes. Four eyes isn't really that horrible, but you know, just being mean because I looked different, because I had glasses, and you know, saying all stuff like Harry Potter, blah, 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 four eyes, blah, 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 blah. Just being nasty little shits. And in my head, I was thinking, well, if I don't stand up for myself, this will be the rest of high school. So the next time they snuck up on me, I elbowed them in the face. Because they would like they would like lean over my shoulder and like scream into my ear. Like horrible things. So I elbowed her in the face. And then I turned around and I sweeping leg kicked with my right leg into her left knee. And she collapsed like a sack of potatoes. And then started crying in a pile on the floor, going, ah! And I walked away. And then right before her friends were about to attack me, basically they all started charging me. The teachers got involved and intervened. And then the two of us were standing, like, you know, talked to by the teacher. And I started crying because I felt bad for hurting someone. I felt bad for hurting someone, and they were crying because they had been hurt. And then we apologized to each other, and then she never bullied me ever again. She was actually very nice to me for the rest of the time that I was at their school. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's like empathy or anything, but like I just felt bad for hurting someone. And also probably the aspect of getting in trouble. Yeah, I'm trying to think, did I have any other embarrassing times where I cried in school? Yes, actually, yes. We did like these little tests. We did like weekly tests for French class. And I got 4 out of 10. For some insane reason, I thought that me failing this weekly class test that had no bearing on my entire mark in the course at all, was going to be the end of my academic career, and I started crying mid-lesson. And I was like 12. So that was a bit embarrassing. That was a bit embarrassing, because I thought I'd failed French class. And so I started sobbing in the classroom, and then the teacher had to console me and be like, Cleo, no, you didn't. How old were you? I was 12. I was 12. It was like first year of high school. Which makes it worse, right? Because it's like, oh god. Is this why you hate the French? I don't hate the French.
We're gonna keep this
Every
up.
time he also says dick, I giggle. Kill yourself.
Haha, New
Wait, hold on,
Zealanders.
chatter that was. Let me see what
Every time
that's clear
a
chatter, that's
woman
okay.
sees your penis, she giggles. Think about that one next time.
I was trying to see which chat that message came from and like who you were saying to do that to, and I'm like, okay, wait, that wasn't my chat. You're fine.
Keep up the good work of making fun of Kiwis.